Hello, welcome once again to Lehto's Law. I'm Steve Lehto. I had several people send me the story about the woman who was arrested for using the wrong colored trash bags. And it's a startling headline. It's not quite as bad as you might think. It also didn't happen in America. But I'll tell you, mum locked up after putting recycling out in wrong color bin bags. Now, the story comes to us from England, so I will translate it into English for my followers and viewers on YouTube. The story comes to us from the Ipswich Star, and Ipswich is a town northeast of London. And I'll tell you right now, if you type Ipswich into Google, one of the questions it suggests to you is Ipswich a real place? And the answer, of course, is yes, it is. It's where they'll lock you up for using the wrong color bin bags. Now, most Americans, they hear bin bags, are thinking of bean bags, like beanbag chairs, and also mum. And mum over here is a totally different word. We refer to our mothers as mom, but then again, we have a funny accent. So this story was, like I said, published in the Ipswich Star. An Ipswich woman who dumped 60 bags of rubbish outside her home has been prosecuted for using the wrong bin bags, garbage bags. Lindsay Webb, 34, was detained by police but eventually released without being convicted, although she was ordered to pay £50 to the Ipswich Borough Council. So, again, it sounds like, hey, you used the wrong color trash bag, you're going to jail, my friend. That's not what happened. She's also given a 6-month conditional discharge, which sounds worse than it is, after appearing before magistrates on video from the police station. She was arrested on a warrant after failing to appear in court in April, and that's what happened. So, in other words, she used the wrong type of garbage bags. They sent her a notice and said, hey, you're in violation of the law, stop it. And they apparently summoned her to court. And they claim they served her with a summons and she ignored the summons. Now, this will happen to you in America. If you ignore a summons from a court, no matter how trivial, if it says you need to show up, it'll often say right below it. And if you don't, you may be arrested. And may, as you know, with your luck, probably will turn out to be, will be arrested. Yeah, I'm talking to you. Ipswich Borough Council prosecuted the mother of 3 for breaching the Environmental Protection Act 4 times near her St. Helens Street flat in March. Again, that flat, it's a reference to a place where people live. We don't use that terminology here. Webb was said to have fallen afoul of changes to bin collection system rules earlier this year, which residents without storage space were no longer permitted to deposit black bags on the street. So they told you, look, you can put garbage bags up, but you can't use black garbage bags anymore. The prosecutor, Richard Essex, said well-publicized changes saw black bags replaced with orange and clear bags for waste separation. This is not for aesthetics, my friends, because you don't want to see clear garbage bags if you don't want to. Residents were advised to contact the council to get stocks of orange bags, where relevant, and start using them from March, added Mr. Essex, who said the case involved about 60 large black rubbish bags being dumped in Dove Street over a 22-day period. So this story is coming to us from in August, okay? And the changes allegedly went into place back in March. So plenty of time to get your trash bag act together. The rubbish was reported by a passing warden. Over here, the only wardens we hear about are the game wardens. Passing warden who saw a pile of 10 black bags on the pavement on March 4th. A search of the contents. Yes, that's your job. You're the garbage police. Dig through the garbage and look for something. A search of the contents found bills addressed to Webb, who was recorded on closed-circuit television the next night, making 2 journeys to deposit more bags on the street of the wrong color. On another occasion, she was recorded pushing a trolley of bags. A cart of bags at 3:30 in the morning. And the question is she really doing her garbage hauling at 3:30 in the morning? Or does she know she's up to a nefarious activity using those improper bags? Mr. Essex claimed £600 to cover the cost of clearing up the waste and £200 towards the prosecution. So yes, they were asking her to cough up £800. And that, of course, is a form of currency because they're not on the euro in England. They use the pound. And while it might be sound as a pound, I forgot what the conversion rate is these days, but it sounds like a lot of cash. Jeremy Kendall, on behalf of Webb, said she had used black bags without issue until March, when orange bags that she requested never arrived. We were waiting for the garbage bags that never arrived. She was given permission to put black bags in the same position for collection, albeit on collection days, he added. She has 3 children who generate quite a bit of waste. Kids do that, you know. She made no attempt to be underhand. While unseemly, it didn't inconvenience anyone directly because the bins were left outside a boarded up shop. Mr. Kendall said Webb failed to attend court in April because she never received a summons. It's pretty distressing for her to be taken into custody. And so that's what the headlines all jumped all over was, mother of 3 arrested for using wrong color garbage bags. And if you take the headline and convert that into an image in your mind, you can picture the woman dropping the garbage bag and then being hauled off in handcuffs with the screaming kids in the background generating waste. Mommy, where are you going? I'm off to jail. Call an attorney. I don't know if in England if they have quite the same rights that we do with respect to attorneys being arrested and so on at the time of arrest. But the bigger issue, of course, is she was arrested for failing to appear in court. And that's true in America as it is in England, apparently. You get a summons, you have to appear, and if you don't appear, you can be arrested. Now, if she wasn't served the summons, she'd have a great argument for that. But again, the system's not failing here. It's not inherently flawed or anything, unless there's actually some systematic problem with serving summonses on people who are being hauled into trash court. And I'm joking, of course, but I will tell you that years ago, I lived in a place that was condominium. I've mentioned that before. And the condominium had all kinds of rules, which my neighbors often likened to a fascist regime made famous in World War II. And I'm not going to use any of those terms on my videos. But they had all these rules about trash and garbage and what you could put out and so on. And one of the problems that we had was you could put your trash out in complete compliance, meaning you take the garbage out to the curb in a can, put it in the can, close the lid, and someone could come by and knock your can over. And if the garbage police came by, and that's what we nicknamed them, and they came by and your can was knocked over and the contents were out, they would actually send you a thing saying your garbage was not secure. You now owe us a $25 fine. And that happened to both me and people I know to such an extent that it was distressing, because you can do everything in your power. Put it in the can, lid's closed, put it at the curb. Some kid comes by and kicks it over. And I'm not going to go out and literally guard my garbage overnight. And I'm also not going to haul it out in the morning because the garbage men showed up so early occasionally you'd miss them if you tried that, because we tried that. Okay. So it's always a little disturbing to know that, we've spotted a rules violation in the garbage. We're now going to dig through the garbage to find out whose garbage this is. And, there was an alleged process in place where you could fight these violations. And this is not when I was on the board of the condo association. And I actually tried fighting these. And they would just say, no, it's your garbage. It got knocked over. You owe us $25. And it was absurd. It was absurd. So I got out of there shortly thereafter. That's one of the reasons I left that place. And, I've lived at a couple different places that were condos. You'd think I'd learn. And I can tell you right now that a lot of times a condo community will have many, many units. And they'll have a board that oversees it. And the people who own the units can vote together and put together a board. And what generally seems to happen is the pendulum will swing to where you have lawlessness and no rules being enforced, and somebody comes and goes, look, it's time to enforce the rules. Then it swings the other direction to where we're enforcing the rules to such crazy detail that we're fining people when other people knock their garbage cans over. And by the way, when the garbage man shows up and the garbage bag's laying on the ground, guess what he does? He picks it up and throws it in the garbage truck. Doesn't hurt anybody. So, a stupid rule like that being enforced at that level of intensity is insanity. So getting back to the Ipswich garbage problem, and using the color-coded bags, I'm sure there's a good reason behind it. And I'm sure that if people abuse it, that they should enforce the law. And I'm sure that if you get notified by a court saying you must show up or you will be arrested or possibly fined, even worse, that most people will respond to that. So the real question is, was she notified? And is she, in fact, a scofflaw, first of all, for using the wrong color bags, and second of all, for not showing up in court? Could be good reasons for both of those. I'll follow this if anybody ever updates it. But then again, the updates from Ipswich might not come through the way they ought to. But I will keep my eyes peeled, and I'll ask my observant audience members to likewise keep their eyes peeled for updates from Ipswich. Questions or comments, put them below. Otherwise, talk to you later. Bye-bye.